Hi, my name is Amy Conklin, and this is Module 5, Understanding My Community. I'm going to be discussing the Perry-Lecompton School District, USD 343. So what are the customs and traditions of Perry-Lecompton? Perry and Lecompton were separate school districts until they unified in 1970. The district is an integration of 4 different towns: Perry, Lecompton, Grantville, and Williamstown. Perry is known for strong academics and historically has had the highest ACT composite in the Big 7 League. Band and choir are fantastic at Perry-Lecompton, and they have a long history of receiving 1 ratings at both the middle school and high school levels in all of their competitions. We're also known for strong support for athletics from the community. And we also have a strong booster club to support them. But if you go to Perry-Lecompton on a Friday night during the fall, you'll see a ton of people out there supporting the football team. So definitely there's great community support for athletics. Some of the traditions of Perry-Lecompton, homecoming is a big one. There's a fun homecoming parade where students are encouraged to develop floats. They get out half a day. This extends from high school all the way down to elementary school. Lots of people are involved in the parade. It stretches the whole length of a street in Perry. Students from Lecompton Elementary get bussed over so they can participate. And it's just a really fun event where you can also see community members lining the streets to come see the parade. The elementary schools also do a cute little Halloween parade where they'll get dressed in their costumes, and weather permitting, they'll go out and walk around their neighborhoods, and you'll see lots of the community come out to support them. And Perry Elementary is right next to a bank, so the students walk over during the parade and get a fun little treat from the bank. Perry also has what's known as Perry Pride Festival once a year, which is brought on by the Perry Pride organization. And then Lecompton, which has a pretty good history, has Lecompton Territorial Days once a year that's put on by the Lecompton Pride organization. So what are the population characteristics of the Perry-Lecompton School District? Unfortunately, we have noticed an enrollment decline. In 2000, we were right around 800 students. And I came on about 2002, 2003, and we were closer to about 900 students at that time. This last school year, we have dropped to 700 students, so that is a declining enrollment, which has caused some issues within the district, especially with what high school can offer class-wise. Male, female, not too much of a difference. Males are at 53%. We are really mainly a Caucasian white population with 88%, 6% Hispanic, 6% other. Another number that has been growing is the 40% economically disadvantaged. We have seen that number rise within the past few years. And just because I'm a school psychologist, I like to look at this statistic, but we have 19% of students with disabilities. Communication channels within the Perry-Lecompton district. TV, Perry sits in an interesting location where you can access both Topeka and Kansas City stations. I would say Topeka stations are going to carry more of the actual happenings of the Perry-Lecompton district, such as sports, and WIBW is a good one that I hear a lot of people connect with to receive news on Perry-Lecompton. As far as the newspaper goes, Jefferson County, which is where Perry-Lecompton sits, they have the Valley Falls Vindicator, and that's going to have the most information about our Perry-Lecompton students. But if there is kind of a big thing happening, or maybe students get on a special, honor team or whatever, that would be in the Lawrence Journal World or in the Topeka Star, because Perry-Lecompton kind of sits in between Topeka and Lawrence. Social media, it continues to be a big place for the district to communicate with parents and with the community. At the elementary levels, each teacher was encouraged to create a class Facebook page where they would invite the parents and where they could send different kinds of information, and where parents could communicate with each other to organize classroom parties. I saw that as a very successful way for communication to happen and to also promote positive events that were happening. At the middle school and high school level, Twitter is used more, and that's where the athletic director puts any kind of athletic events happening or successes that the athletes have had. And I also know that the high school worked really hard to develop a positive image by also putting any kind of activities or successes that any group was happening on Twitter. Community groups within the Perry-Lecompton area. It is an agricultural community, so of course 4-H is very big. There's the opportunities for kids to be involved in Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts. There are a variety of different church groups. Both Perry and Lecompton have both a Methodist and Catholic church that are very involved. And Williamstown actually has a non-denominational church that is a very big piece of that community. The church groups have been known for providing different kinds of financial assistance to students within the schools. They have given supplies, paid off lunch fees, and have even supported some of our high school students with scholarships to go to Washburn Tech so that they could buy different supplies and materials needed. As far as sports programs, there is the opportunity for elementary and younger middle school students to be involved in our junior CAW sports programs. And that's different things like volleyball, football, basketball, baseball, softball. And those particular programs are run by community members. Our elementary school brought on Girls on the Run, which is a really neat program, if you've never heard about it, that helps girls to develop positive self-esteem and get some exercise. And then within the community, as I mentioned earlier, Perry and Lecompton Pride are community groups that try to get out different information that's happening in the community and try to really build that sense of a community. There's different organizations within the community that also provide scholarships for students going to post-secondary. The bank, there's an endowment committee, churches, there's lots of different places within the community that they offer scholarships. What's the leadership structure here in Perry-Lecompton? We obviously have our board, and that's 7 members. The interesting piece of how members are selected is that 5 of them have to be from the different areas, and that's to ensure that the different communities have a say in what's happening. And then 2 of the members are at large. There is, of course, our superintendent. We then have the administrators. Their leadership team meets once a week to discuss and plan out different areas for the district. And then through the KISA process, the accreditation process, the district brought on the district leadership team, which involves the principal, a grade level rep, and a special education rep that meet quarterly to go through kind of the KISA process and to plan out what we want to see happen in the district. And then also through the KISA process, the district site council was developed. That not only includes people from the school system, but really sought out members from the community that may have a business happening and want them to be involved in the decision-making process as well. The economic conditions, I went ahead and looked at Jefferson County. The median household income is right around $57,000. The median house value, $130,000. 92% of the population has a high school diploma, and 21% have a bachelor degree or higher. This statistic I found interesting is that the mean time to work is 29 minutes. So for the most part, people that live in Jefferson County are traveling elsewhere for their job. And I would say we have a large population that travels to Topeka, Lawrence, or Kansas City. There just aren't many job opportunities within Jefferson County. The social tensions here at Perry-Lecompton, when I first came, which was about 16 years ago, you really heard the Perry versus Lecompton mindset. There was even things like, well, a Perry person can't date a Lecompton person. I think this has gotten smaller, but I think there does kind of seem to be some tension around where you live and who you should associate with or not. Again, I do think this mindset is getting smaller, but Lecompton wasn't very happy when the two schools unified, and Perry was kind of the place where most of the schools were set at. Within the social tensions, you also just have small town. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows everybody's business. And that obviously can cause some tension. And then I will say lack of diversity hurts the Perry-Lecompton district. We majority white, 88%. And I would say anyone that is a little off the norm. So if they maybe have a different sexual identity, or if they are a student of color, it creates some tension. And I hope that as a school, we can only build and support all students and try to really have students take a look at that diversity piece. Power structures within the Perry-Lecompton district. Of course, you have the school board, the superintendent, and the administrative team. And within these structures, if a problem occurs, they really try to do a chain of command and who you should talk to first before going on to someone else. Multicultural issues within the Perry-Lecompton district. We do have a growing number of that lower socioeconomic status, which is creating some interesting challenges. And I think this is kind of happening across the state. There just seems to be higher social emotional needs happening with our students. And as we learn more about trauma-informed care, and even the state has put an emphasis on social emotional learning curriculum, it's just something we all need to take, maybe a little extra care with, and maybe thought out plans on how we're going to deal with the growing social emotional needs. So the power structure, so if a parent is having an issue, they really are encouraged to start with the teacher and try to really discuss it with them and to make a plan. If the problem does not get resolved, the teacher is then asked to go talk to the principal. And then if it continues, then that's when parents can go to the superintendent. But we really try to resolve problems directly with parents at the teacher level. As far as measuring public opinion, the district leadership team that was developed from the KISA process did send out a variety of surveys to staff as well as families to gather public opinion, what different community members, families, as well as staff, what they felt was important and what they felt that should be focused on first. So that's one way that we did measure public opinion already within the district. There is a plan to continue to gather more information, and as we move further with the KISA process, we're going to continue to want to kind of take the pulse of the community and where individuals think we should be going. There's always a needs assessment that happens within each school building. There are enrollment surveys. Sometimes there are surveys that are put out during parent-teacher conferences. And then each building has a site council where different parents can come and discuss different issues at each building. That's my presentation on the Perry-Lecompton School District. It was interesting to gain some more information and to kind of see where Perry-Lecompton had come from. Thank you.